Welcome. ieSonoma is a business, public, private school partnership that was created 5 years ago for the express purpose of instilling and motivating creativity in our public schools and in our private schools. This is our 5th year anniversary. I'd like to thank our organizing partners who started this event 5 years ago. That's Sonoma Country Day School and Sonoma State University, as well as the Sonoma County Office of Education. As the county superintendent, this is a culminating event this year. Sometimes it's an initiating event for us to celebrate the 21st Century Summer Institute, which was created about 6 years ago. And that express purpose of that event, or that organizing activity, was to provide opportunities for teachers to innovate their classrooms. For the past 6 years, we've invested close to $250,000 into that activity, and we have added 400 classrooms practicing design thinking, maker activities, the 4 C's of the 21st century, which are creativity, communication, critical thinking, and collaboration. Anyway, those activities are reverberating throughout our public schools in Sonoma County, and we have much to be proud of. In 2015, as we honor this event, we were recognized by the White House in cooperation with our partner from Sonoma State in beginning the first teacher certified program in the MAKE movement. So, congratulations to Sonoma County. In 2017, our lead teachers for the MAKE movement were recognized by NASA and just came back from Langley, where we were recognized for the innovation of classroom creativity. So if you are a participating member in the Sonoma Summer Institute, or have been a participating member in the Sonoma Summer Institute, we thank you for your participation. You are on the forefront of providing innovative education, not only in Sonoma County, but in California public schools and private schools. I'd like to welcome the next speaker up here, which is Karen Demarest. Karen.
Good morning, everyone. It's so amazing to see you all. You know, I've had the great honor of moderating this event for the last 5 years. I love anniversaries. I love ritual, and part of the reason why is it's a time to reflect. And so, as I was preparing, I was reflecting on what have we learned, the amazing speakers that have come forward, and really, what have I done with that inspiration? Because it is one thing to come here and learn from the experts and feel inspired and want to make change. It's really quite another to then go and change your practices. And that's the challenge that we're faced with, is really making change from this moment on. And so I looked back on the speakers and I thought, okay, what changes have I made? Well, Sir Ken Robinson really inspired me. I went out, I bought his book, The Element. I really tried to figure out if I was in my element. That was helpful. With Kane, or Kane's Arcade, you remember Nirvan Mullick, who did that film. Suddenly, everywhere I looked, cardboard was gold. And I started stockpiling cardboard in the garage until it got recycled. And then, it was Dan Pilato was the next year. I really liked him. He works in the field that I work in, so he started the Charitable Defense Council. And that one really got me excited. I went immediately on the website. I signed up for their 3-state march that they were going to do, but they canceled that too, so I didn't do that. Then last year was Benjamin Zander, and that's one that has actually stuck because I do sit in the front row now, every event I go to. But does anybody remember those squiggly lines he made? I remember being so inspired by those squiggly lines, but I can't remember why. So inspiration is great. Change is difficult. It's difficult for us personally, and it's difficult because there are a lot of obstacles. And speaking of obstacles, I want to thank so many of you completed the pre-event survey, and it's really helpful. You probably saw scrolling outside, the infographic gives us a lot of information about what you're thinking, about your attendance here, but also 250 of you wrote an answer to the question, what makes you most concerned about the future of education? And I spent a night reading all 250 of your answers, and there were some outliers, but for the most part, I was able to theme them, and it's really no surprise. You're very concerned about the political situation, concerned about funding, about standardized testing, student motivation, parent engagement, technology, both too much and too little. But the one thing you didn't say you were concerned about is your own inertia and your own sense of being an obstacle. So this is really great news because you have youth, you have your wit, you have your determination, your ingenuity, your charm. You can make change. And that's what I started to think about for myself. Okay, maybe I've made little changes after being inspired here, but what has really made me do something that I hadn't thought I would do in the last 5 years? And here it is. I learned to surf. I am actually learning to surf because it's a really, really steep learning curve. And I've learned a lot about change from studying how I got from being happy to flop around in the waves in my wetsuit to actually surfing. And so I'm going to share this with you because I think it's really important for each one of us to consider what is it that makes us do things differently. What would make us feel inspired to be innovative and creative in our practices? So here's what I've learned about surfing. You have to be willing to be really bad at something for a long time, with lots of people watching. From the beach, right at you, over and over and over again. And it's hard. When we get older, we don't want to not be good at something. So that's one thing we really have to be willing to do if we're going to change our practices. 2, we have to be willing to fail over and over and over again. But then once you get that first ride, all the failure goes away. Fear can be very paralyzing. Do not think about sharks. Just don't think about it. And finally, and for me this is definitely the most important, listen to the voice of those who matter most to you. So it was my son that got me to learn to surf. We had been flopping around in the waves in our wetsuits for years together, and then he said, "Mom, I want to learn to surf, and I want you to too." That was a big deal. That was a big ask. And when I listened to that voice, I knew I was going to make change. I knew I was going to put aside my fear, put aside being embarrassed, because he had motivated me to change. So that's the invitation to you today. You know, our theme is student voice. It might be the voice of your students that will motivate you to change. It might be the voice of your children, of your principal, of Sir Ken Robinson. But we're going to hear the voices of 6 young people today, innovators, young innovators, who have set aside their fear, their embarrassment, and accepted failure as part of the game, and are going to share their stories with you. So think about it today. You're going to be inspired. A lot of you went to the Summer Institute. You're really inspired, but how are you really going to bring innovation and creativity into your practices? So that's our invitation today. I hope you enjoy the show. Cowabunga!
Trejo is a recent graduate of Rincon Valley Charter School's Sequoia campus. She recently submitted a STEAM Showcase project on turtle conservation in which she compiled information and an action each citizen could take, learned to weld to develop a model that furthered her conservation cause, and raised money for turtle conservation. She will be attending the Art Quest program at Santa Rosa High School in the fall, where she plans to study visual fine arts. Please welcome Louisa Trejo.
Good morning, I am Louisa Trejo, and I come from Lincoln Valley Charter School. As you heard, I will be going to high school next year. So today I will talk about my STEAM Showcase project. My science class was assigned to do a service learning project based on our unit that we were learning. And we had to incorporate STEAM into the project as well. And then my teacher would choose a group of students that would go to the event, and so on. So I am interested in arts, again, as you heard, and I wanted to make something in the art category that was kind of impressive, I guess, something that I haven't ever done before. And my STEAM Showcase project was based on human impacts and human impacts on sea turtles mainly, and a little bit of other marine life. So I made this little turtle sculpture. I recycled a Volkswagen car, like scraps of it, and I made the turtle. As you can see, there's the hood of the car. Next, you can see the shell of it, and then the tools. I used a welding tool that was really hard, and I got burned a little, but that's okay. And so I will now do my project in the STEAM lettering. So for science, it was the human impacts and the marine life for turtles. And for technology, I used a slideshow presentation that I presented at the showcase. And engineering was the making of my sea turtle. My art was my actual little sculpture. I really based my project around art because I like art. And math, I didn't use a lot because I did not know how, so I said I used the measurements of my turtle, such, and I had many rough patches making it. At first, my idea started off as a robot of some sort, and then somehow it was gonna be with plants, and that idea never worked out, thankfully. And then one night, I had an idea to make a sculpture, and I made it.
Graduate of Pioneer High School, Fatima Aguilar has been an active community volunteer for most of her teen years. She is currently the District Lieutenant Governor for the Northern California Key Club and is the President of Community Action Partnership's DIG Youth Leadership Program. She will be attending Sonoma State University in the fall to double major in Business Administration and Spanish. Please welcome Fatima Aguilar.
Perfect. Well, hello everyone, my name is Fatima. If you want to use my full name, but just Fatima. As you heard, I just graduated from Pioneer High School, class of 2017, right? I'm super excited to be attending Sonoma State University, majoring in business administration and Spanish to work for a nonprofit, hopefully, and following the footsteps of my amazing advisor, Vince Harper. I want to start off first by kind of giving you details of my story on how I started getting so involved in the community and why I so much admire working with the community. I was born in Mexico, Jalisco to be exact. I arrived to Palmdale, California, desert island. It's deserty, really, close to Los Angeles at the age of 1. And that's where I realized how it felt, what it really felt like to be poor. We were living in poverty, and I never really saw my father. And it was pretty difficult. I didn't really grow up with kind of a father just because he was working late nights, and it was mostly my mom giving us the basic needs. But the days that my dad was there, he would definitely tell us, Mija, be the leader, be the person you want to be to change the way it currently is, you know, seeing how people in our neighborhoods were living. So ever since that, I started realizing that in order to make a change in the community, there had to be someone stepping in, or just someone, you know, kind of giving an envision, or someone kind of leading, or not leading, but, you know, just being kind of a motivational speaker or something. And so for me, when I graduated, I used a quote on my cap that says, "Vuela tan alto como puedes sin olvidarte dónde vienes." Translating, fly as high as you can without forgetting where you come from. That's, back in freshman year, that's when I started getting involved in the community. I became really involved with Key Club, which is a student organization that empowers kind of teenagers to become more involved in the community. I fell in love so much with the community that I started running for office, and after I lost to presidency, that was a fallback, but I became vice president and later on lieutenant governor. And let me tell you, it wasn't really that easy. I had to plan many events, and there was moments where I wanted to give up just because it was very stressful, having to take AP classes, balancing work, and providing for my family, and taking JC classes alongside with being lieutenant governor. It was very much difficult, and there was nights where I just cried because my parents didn't really understand why I was doing it, why I was so passionate, until they started coming to these events. And that's one focus that's one main thing I really want to focus on. It's about the parents' involvement. Without the parents' involvement, they really don't know what their kid is doing until they actually go to one of these events and they realize, wow, my kid is making a difference. Since my dad wasn't really around, he didn't really get to see what I was doing at such a young age. Until recently when I had to host my last event as lieutenant governor. And it was very challenging just because it was the first event my dad went to. So I didn't really know what to expect of, but by the end of it, I was crying, bawling my tears out, no more Key Club, and my dad came up to me and gave me a hug and told me, Mija, I'm so proud of you. I never realized why you were doing all this until now. And it really just comes back to parenting and realizing that parents' involvements are very important to a children's aspect, especially for them to realize how much parenting does matter. Alongside with that, being lieutenant governor, I was also involved in Big Leaders, which is a youth leadership also, and that's where we had to host the Day Night Festival. Has anyone here been to the Day Night Festival in South Park? Besides Vince. So it partners with Santa Rosa, with the city of Santa Rosa with the gang prevention. And my parents also, well, my mom was able to go to that, and she's very, very proud of all the hard work that's done. But just reflecting back on this past year, the past few years, I just really want to say that being involved in the community definitely did change my aspects, and I just love working with the community so much, and I am so grateful to have had the opportunity to serve within the community. But that's a little bit about my story. Thank you so much once again. If there's any questions towards any of the organizations I'm part of, please feel free to come and ask me, and Vince Harper especially. Thank you once again.
Jaya Foster is a student at Sonoma Academy whose ability to vision in 3D and translate his digital visions into physical reality is inspiring. Jaya recently studied the intricacies of the Arduino microprocessor and coding language, and then leveraged the system to develop tools to assist local middle school students with severe physical and mental disabilities in interacting with their computer devices. Please welcome Jaya Foster.
Good morning all, and thank you for being here. Hope you're having a wonderful morning. As you just heard, my name is Jaya Foster, and I just finished my freshman year at Sonoma Academy. Unlike traditional schools, Sonoma Academy offers a 2-week period called Intersession, an 8-hour day intensive deep dive into any topic we choose. When options were presented, I chose a class called Assistive Technology. Assistive technology appeared to involve building stuff out of foam core and metal, and programming circuit boards to make devices that could potentially help students with physical disabilities. I was a barely mediocre programmer, had no formal engineering training, and hadn't built a single thing out of metal or foam core, ever. So why did I sign up for this intercession? Well, reason number one, I had a STEM scholarship at Sonoma Academy to uphold. But more importantly, and reason number two, is that I am genuinely curious and interested about how these things work, and more importantly, how I can use these things to help other people. So I went into that intercession like an ancient gladiator, full of grit, determination, and courage, all mixed up with unquantifiable amounts of anxiety and fear. I can still remember walking into class on the first day, seeing my teachers writing on the whiteboard, amongst instructions for all the different technology we would use that day, when lunch would happen, and safety rules for electrical soldering. There was one call to action written in capital letters on the board. Design and create a computer interface to help somebody. The simplicity and simultaneous complexity of this challenge both inspired and intimidated me at the same time. Needless to say, I was ecstatic. And from the first day, I tinkered away, programming the Arduino microprocessor and a separate device, the Makey, an Arduino variant that allowed human beings, or any other conductive material for that matter, to complete electrical circuits using touch. Then it came time to put what we learned to the test and create something that we present to the kids with severe physical disabilities to help them interact with and learn from computers. The specific student we were assigned to struggled both physically and cognitively. After spending some time brainstorming solutions with my team, I proposed the idea of programming an educational game. We decided to use the Scratch programming language in 2 laser columns to control the computer, where our student would only have to use lasers instead of human interaction to make a choice on the computer. We created a SketchUp model of what we wanted the exterior of our device to look like, and the device eventually looked like this. Next slide. The device eventually looked like this. It would first display the game on the computer, and then the actual device contained two separate boxes, one for the letter on the left side and one for the letter on the right. The computer game would call out a letter, present her with two choices. If the letter X was read, X would appear on the left side of the screen, and she would place her hand in the left side of the box and interrupt the laser and signal the computer that the correct choice was made. If she chose incorrectly, the computer would notify her and try again. This would make interacting with the computer for our specific student much easier, as she would not have to touch a single key on the computer, but simply interrupt the flow of a laser beam with her hand. Simple for her, but more complicated for us. It was 2 days away from the deadline, and our device still didn't work right. We had removed all the wires from it, trying to identify the problem with the connectivity, and our program still didn't work right. So I went home that night and tinkered away with the code, while my teammates spent the night resoldering wires to try to identify the error. We met the next day, shared our mutual efforts, and finally got it to work. The day of visiting our student had arrived, and we were about to present her with our project. We powered up our little contraption right before she arrived back from recess. And guess what? Only one of the laser columns worked. We immediately tore open the back of it and tried to repair it. We got it to work just in the nick of time. And let me tell you, seeing the look on her face as she played the game with our device and controlled things on the computer was well worth all the stress and effort. Well, what was it that made the whole thing work in the first place? It was just one tiny part that enabled the whole thing. Initially, smashing together the Makey and Arduino systems to try to complete a circuit in thin air using lasers instead of human touch was a daunting task. Sure, better for our student, but daunting nonetheless. Then we realized we could use a simple triode to bridge the two different devices. One simple piece of electronics squeezed in between two seemingly complex systems. This one very simple innovation made all the difference for our student and reminded us that sometimes the most complex of innovations involves a small, simple, common realization. And if you look at any other piece of human innovation, you can see that there is indeed a simple core, no matter how complex it may seem. And tasks that appear too difficult take on a much different meaning. Connections can be made. It's a beautiful thing. So I leave you today with this challenge. Work to find the simple core in things you do and see, and it may bring you to complex and deep realizations that you may not have seen before. Thank you.
A 2017 graduate of Sonoma Country Day School, Ellie Ramos is passionate about engineering. She is fascinated by robotics and 3D printing. She competed in LEGO Robotics in First LEGO League and coached in the Sonoma Country Day School's LEGO Robotics team. She also volunteers for Enable, a nonprofit organization that distributes 3D printing prosthetic hands to children and adults around the world. Ellie is headed to Sonoma Academy for high school in fall 2017. Please welcome Ellie Ramos.
Hi, I'm Ellie Ramos. Last week I graduated 8th grade from Sonoma Country Day School. I'm honored to be speaking today, but in writing my speech, I began to wonder, what does it really mean to be an innovator? How did I become a student innovator? I began to think about a time I volunteered with classmates and teachers at the Sonoma County Science Fair. We ran a booth where each person got one sheet of tinfoil to make a boat. They then put the boat in the water and counted how many pennies it could hold. Adults often built typical boats, no offense on you. The boats sank very quickly as they added the pennies. Children, on the other hand, built very creative boats. One child, for example, wrapped the tinfoil around his shoe. This boat held 100 pennies, by the way. So the biggest difference between the adults and children was how they responded to failure. After one try, most of the adults walked away. The children, on the other hand, tried again and again and again and again and again. The kids thought of more creative designs and weren't afraid to fail. My conclusion? Kids can be the best innovators. So I decided to think back to how did I become an innovator? I've always loved making things and engineering. My passion started when I was very young. My mom was allergic to cats, so when I was 5, I built a cat out of cardboard. I attached wheels and a string to make it follow me around. I built many cat prototypes before I had the perfect cardboard cat. Once, I asked Santa for cardboard and duct tape so I could build some more. By 7, I had a workbench in my bedroom complete with power tools. To me, this was all fun, things I love to do. My next conclusion? Innovators love what they do. I was introduced to Lego robotics in kindergarten. Mrs. Pressler was my kindergarten teacher, and I adored her, and I still do. 6th graders on the robotics team helped the kindergarten class build an alligator robot. I was hooked. I asked every single year and every single holiday for a Lego kit. I finally got a Lego robotics kit in 4th grade. The first Lego robot I built could carry my laundry from my bedroom to the laundry room. Next, I chose Lego robotics as an elective at school. Miss Liz was our volunteer robotics coach, and Miss Megan Byram was our school Lego teacher. They taught me all the basics on how to program Lego robots and all about the cool accessories. I competed in my first competition later that year. My conclusion? Innovators need great mentors. At this point in my school career, I enjoyed school and had some wonderful teachers, but I really didn't fit in socially. Let's face it, I wasn't a stereotypical 4th grade girl. I had a workbench with power tools, and I played with robots rather than dolls. I mean, like, come on. Once, a girl spit in my face and said, "Why can't you be a normal girl?" So it was time for me to move on to another school, hoping to find more accepting classmates. I transferred schools in 5th grade, and I was ecstatic to find out they had a robotics team. I was the only girl on the team, but that never bothered me. 3 weeks in, though, the coach told me that I should move to an all-girl team at another school, because I would fit in better. I was initially mad that I had to change teams because I was a girl, and the school where I thought I would be challenged and accepted for who I am wasn't what I thought it would be. As frustrating as it was actually one of the best things that had ever happened to me. I met some people from Sonoma Country Day School for the first time. Miss Tina Souza and Natalie and Julia DeChico. In Miss Souza, I found a positive mentor who believed in me and encouraged me to continue to think out of the box. In Natalie and Julia, I made friends who love robotics just as much as I do, and we support each other. My conclusion, innovators need to work through challenges, and innovators need people who love and accept them. Halfway through 6th grade, I transferred to Sonoma Country Day School, where I continued Lego robotics with Miss Liz and Miss Souza as my coaches. Here's a clip of our 7th grade Capture the Flag team and our robot, which won the award for Best Mechanical and Engineering Design. The robot threw a decoy block at the other robot to mess it up. I still wanted to participate in robotics, so I coached a team of 4th grade and 5th grade girls. 8th grade is a super busy year, so none of my friends wanted to do it with me. Still, it was a great experience to give back and help inspire another group of female innovators. Another conclusion? Innovators share their knowledge. Miss Liz soon after asked me to join the Enable Club. Enable is a worldwide group of volunteers We 3D print prosthetic hands and arms for people in need. They are great for children who are constantly growing and in need of neuroprosthesis. The 3D printed hands are very cheap to make and compared to the painful and expensive surgeries. It was challenging learning to print and construct the hands. Each hand takes 18 hours to print and another 2 hours to assemble. During my time with the SCDS Enable Club, we printed and assembled over 40 hands for children. Another conclusion? Innovators make the world a better place. As I reviewed my list of conclusions, I realized I am a student innovator. I have a passion for creativity and enjoy thinking out of the box. In designing my first cardboard cats or years of Lego robotics, I failed over and over, but never gave up. I've endured challenges, and I'm grateful to have amazing mentors in my life who accept me for who I am. I've done my best to share my knowledge as a Lego coach and tried to make someone else's life better by making them an enable hand. And most importantly, I love what I do. As innovator Elon Musk once said, failure is an option here. If you aren't failing, you aren't innovating enough.
Paisley is a student at Marin School of the Arts and the founder of Take 18 Entertainment, a self-supporting film production company that employs other teen actors and filmmakers. His most recent film, Point 453, is about an untreated bipolar boy struggling to fit into a family that rejects him. He has also written and produced films on teen drug addiction and human trafficking. Please welcome Ethan Paisley.
Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, so as said, my name is Ethan Paisley. Thank you guys so much for having me here today. I'm a film producer based out of Petaluma, California, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys a little bit about why I consider my production company to produce films that have impact. So my background, I'm from Petaluma. I grew up on stage doing theater at Cinema Theater, and that kind of prompted an interest for me in doing film work. So I started my own YouTube channel. And I had some success. I got about 500,000 views and a ton of subscribers. But beyond that, what that channel really taught me about was simply producing work and putting out new content every week, and scheduling, and engaging, and just really making films. So from there, I knew I wanted to pursue this full time. But how did these YouTube spoofs turn into what I now consider art with impact? When I was a freshman in high school, I was absolutely fazed by the prevalent drug use on campus. I had friends who were going down a bad path, and I was really concerned about them. So I took that concern of mine and I turned it into a 75-page screenplay, which I later called The Art of Escape. And from there, I gathered around 15 other teenagers in the area to help me pull off this feature film. But the biggest thing we took away from this production, beyond the distribution we got, beyond the festivals it was entered into, was the fact that we connected over an issue that we were all extremely passionate about and concerned about, and shared that connection with the rest of the world. So we really bonded over this, and we wanted to do this more. We wanted to start making more of a difference in our community and the way we connected with each other as teenage friends. And that's where Take 18 Entertainment was born. So it started in 2016. We offer all types of videography and photography services that go directly into making our narrative content. And we've been around, for about a year now. We've produced 15 short films, 2 features, and 4 commercials. So what is the impact of Take 18 Entertainment? So recently we had a film which was mentioned, Point 453, which is a film that was very personal to me. It deals with an untreated bipolar boy trying to find meaning in his life and connection given his illness. Our film actually screened at Cannes, and the reason it screened there is because it was breaking into a new market. We were breaking into a new market with our films now. Like on Netflix, you might see the title family and kids movies, horror movies. Well, with this film, because it deals with mental illness and it was made by teens, we actually found a sales agent who believed that this could fit into a profitable market, which is teen films made for teens. So we're really excited to be part of that, and that's why we were there and what we're doing with that film. And then we have another film, which while making Point 453, we actually had a crew member who, because of the subject of mental illness on set, was very comfortable opening up about her own struggles as a trauma victim. And that inspired this film because she was a trauma victim of sex trafficking. So we, again, formed a script about a subject that inspired and connected us as a team, shared that with the rest of the world, and now we're making that into a feature film with a couple amazing people, Indrani and Rick Schwartz, who produced Black Swan. So we're really excited to start work on that. I can't speak for the rest of my team, but I can speak for myself, and that as a film producer, I really want to break into and change what we see in the film market. So at the bottom of the slide here, I said, media is our everyday life. If we change that content, we can change the world. So what I want to see as a film producer is different mainstream products being bought and screened on Netflix or on HBO. So for example, in modern media, we're consumed with e-news and the Kardashians and big commercial superhero movies. When I think what we need, given our political climate and given our lack of empathy in the media, I think what we need to see is a different depiction of women's rights, of climate change, of sex trafficking. We need to bring these subjects up in a comfortable and mainstream sense so that we can, as a society, move forward with the media we have available. So that's pretty much it on what I'm doing and what I've done. You can keep up with me through my website, my social media, my IMDb. But in the end, again, our goal as a company and myself as an individual producer is to help make a difference and do that through collaboration and connection over subjects that myself and my team feel passionately about. And yeah, so that's what we're up to.
Ana Maria Morales is currently a student at Santa Rosa Junior College. As an 18-year-old, Ana Maria started a cheesecake business called College Confectionista in order to fund her college education. Her motto on her Facebook page is, "Baking my way into college, one cheesecake at a time." Please welcome Ana Maria Morales.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ana Maria Morales, or you may refer to me as the Cheesecake Gal. I'm on a mission to bake my way into college, one cheesecake at a time. I bake homemade cheesecakes using local organic ingredients from Sonoma County in order to help raise money for my college education. Last year, I graduated from El Molino High School, and I am currently 19 years old and attend Santa Rosa Junior College, where I am completing my general ed courses and core business classes. I'm planning to transfer to UC Berkeley, where I will study business administration at the Haas School of Business, which also happens to be one of the top 5 business schools in the world, so fingers crossed. Okay, today I'm going to present my story of who I am, where I come from, what I do, and why I do what I do. So let's start from the beginning. My parents had me at a very young age, right after high school, actually. They both came from families with very little money. My grandparents on my father's side were immigrants from Mexico, and they came to California in hopes of creating a better future for my family, or my father's family. So they moved to Sonoma County to pick grapes at the wineries. My grandmother, who is 65 and has severe arthritis, still picks grapes at Gallo Winery, so she can hopefully retire soon. This being said, it is very much assumed that my parents certainly did not have enough money to start a college fund for me, unlike many of my other friends that I went to school with, who had a plan or who had money or had some sort of backup fallback in case they wanted to go to college. Well, not so much for me. If there's one message I can get across today, through my presentation, it would be this. Your past circumstances do not define who you are or what you're capable of or what your future holds. Make friends, and please be nice to as many human beings as you possibly can, because you'll never know if they might help you later on in the future. This is what I have found to be the most true during my journey in creating my cheesecake business, College Confectionista. To the right, you'll see a static photo of me and my friend Sydney. We're in first grade. I decided, hey, let's set up a lemonade stand and just see what happens. So I've always held a passion for entrepreneurship since, I don't know, 5 years old, 6 years old. Okay, so I started College Confectionista a few days before turning 18. I was making the second cheesecake I had ever made. By combining a few recipes that I had seen online, give or take a few cups of sugar, I had created a cheesecake that I thought was pretty solid, and everyone in my family loved it, including my brother who hates cheesecake. So I knew this was going to be good. My mother said, Andrea, get those leftovers out of the fridge or I'm going to eat them all. So I said, okay, well, take them to work, please. So she took the leftovers to work and gave them to her coworker, and her coworker said, oh my gosh, Andrea, this is really good. Can I have your recipe? And I said, sorry, it's a secret, but I'll make you a cheesecake if you want, and you can just pay me for the ingredients. So I did, and she gave me $40 for it. And I said, whoa, this is a lot of money. I can do something with this. So I decided to combine my love for baking and my entrepreneurial spirit to create College Confectionista. And I decided that all of the profits would go towards college since I did not have any money, and I knew I wanted to get a further higher education. So I started my cheesecake with a simple Facebook post explaining my story and my plan to set aside the money for college. And before I knew it, I was baking a cheesecake every day of the month. And today I have over 1,000 followers on Facebook who support my business and buy cheesecakes from me, and I make them happy in their tummies. So everything's good. Every month, I make 4 different types of flavors. I always keep my New York style because that's the most popular, and that was my original recipe. I use local ingredients, like I said, so I have some fresh strawberries, and that's my white chocolate raspberry cheesecake with a graham cracker crust that I had last month for Mother's Day. Lemon Love is my all-time favorite, so I just went and picked a whole bunch of lemons and used them for this Lemon Love cheesecake, my salted caramel pecan. Those are some restaurants I've worked with and who have sold my cheesecakes. All right, so this slide is about why I do what I do. Although today I'm helping myself get through college, the ultimate goal is to turn College Confectionista into a nonprofit organization that would create scholarships for other low-income and first-generation women who have the drive to go to college but not the financial means. Today I'm standing before you as the first in my family ever to go to college with over $12,000 set aside that I have raised on my own from College Confectionista. And I have done it on my own through doing something that I love. I want to empower other young women to go to college, overcome their obstacles, and follow their dreams. Thank you.
We now invite you to take a short intermission.